In 2019, 4 million tons of cashew nuts were produced globally, with Ivory Coast and India as the leading producers. As well as the nut and fruit, the plant has several other uses. The shell of the cashew seed yields derivatives that can be used in many applications including lubricants, waterproofing, paints, and, starting in World War II, arms production. The cashew apple is a light reddish to yellow fruit, whose pulp and juice can be processed into a sweet, astringent fruit drink or fermented and distilled into liquor. Culinary uses for cashew seeds in snacking and cooking are similar to those for all tree seeds called nuts. Cashews are commonly used in South Asian cuisine, whole for garnishing sweets or curries, or ground into a paste that forms a base of sauces for curries or some sweets. It is also used in powdered form in the preparation of several Indian sweets and desserts. In Goan cuisine, both roasted and raw kernels are used whole for making curries and sweets. Cashews are also used in Thai and Chinese cuisines, generally in whole form. In the Philippines, cashew is a known product of Antipolo, and is eaten with suman. The province of Pampanga also has a sweet dessert called Turones de Cashew, which is cashew marzipan wrapped in white wafers. In Indonesia, roasted and salted cashews are called kakang meat or kakang meat, while the cashew apple is called jambu monyet, lit. Monkey rose apple. In the 21st century, cashew cultivation increased in several African countries to meet the demands for manufacturing cashew milk, a plant milk alternative to dairy milk. In Mozambique, bolo polana is a cake prepared using powdered cashews and mashed potatoes as the main ingredients. This dessert is popular in South Africa. The mature cashew apple can be eaten fresh, cooked in curries, or fermented into vinegar, citric acid or an alcoholic drink. It is also used to make preserves, chutneys and jams in some countries such as India and Brazil. In many countries, particularly within South America, the cashew apple is used to flavor drinks, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic. In Brazil, cashew fruit juice and the fruit pulp are used in the production of sweets, juice, mixed with alcoholic beverages such as cachaça, and as a flour, milk, or cheese. In Panama, the cashew fruit is cooked with water and sugar for a prolonged time to make a sweet, brown, paste-like dessert called dulce de marañón being a Spanish name for cashew. Cashew nuts are more widely traded than cashew apples, because the fruit, unlike the nut, is easily bruised and has a very limited shelf life. Cashew apple juice, however, may be used for manufacturing blended juices. When consumed, the apple's astringency is sometimes removed by steaming the fruit for 5 minutes before washing it in cold water. Steeping the fruit in boiling salt water for 5 minutes also reduces the astringency. In Cambodia, where the plant is usually grown as an ornamental rather than an economic tree, the fruit is a delicacy and is eaten with salt. In the Indian state of Goa, the ripened cashew apples are mashed and the juice is extracted and kept for fermentation for a few days, which is called niro. Fermented juice then undergoes a double distillation process. The resulting beverage is called feni or feni. Feni is about 40–42% alcohol. The single distilled version is called arak, which is about 15% alcohol. In Tanzania, the cashew apple, bibo in Swahili, is dried and reconstituted with water and fermented, then distilled to make a strong liquor called gongo. Cashew nut oil is a dark yellow oil derived from pressing the cashew nuts, typically from lower value broken chunks created accidentally during processing, and is used for cooking or as a salad dressing. The highest quality oil is produced from a single cold pressing. Cashew nutshell liquid, CNSL, or cashew shell oil is a natural resin with a yellowish sheen found in the honeycomb structure of the cashew nutshell, and is a byproduct of processing cashew nuts. It should not be confused with the edible cashew nut oil, as it is a strong irritant. It is therefore a danger in small-scale processing of the shells, but as a raw material having multiple possible uses. It is used in tropical folk medicine and for anti-termite treatment of timber. Discarded cashew nuts unfit for human consumption, alongside the residues of oil extraction from cashew kernels, can be used to feed livestock. Animals can also eat the leaves of cashew trees. As well as the nut and fruit, the plant has several other uses. In Cambodia, the bark gives a yellow dye, the timber is used in boat making, and for house boards, and the wood makes excellent charcoal. The shells yield a black oil used as a preservative and waterproofing agent in varnishes, cements, and as a lubricant or timber seal. Timber is used to manufacture furniture, boats, packing crates, and charcoal. Its juice turns black on exposure to air, providing an indelible ink. The cashew tree is a tropical evergreen tree in the genus Anacardium that produces the cashew seed and the cashew apple accessory fruit. The tree can grow as tall as 14 meters, but the dwarf cultivars, growing up to 6 meters, prove more profitable, with earlier maturity and greater yields. The cashew seed is commonly considered a snack nut eaten on its own, used in recipes, or processed into cashew cheese or cashew butter. Like the tree, the nut is often simply called a cashew. Cashew allergies are triggered by the proteins found in tree nuts, and cooking often does not remove or change these proteins. Some people are allergic to cashews, but they are a less frequent allergen than tree nuts or peanuts. For up to 6% of children and 3% of adults, consuming cashews may cause allergic reactions, ranging from mild discomfort to life-threatening anaphylaxis. These allergies are triggered by the proteins found in tree nuts, and cooking often does not remove or change these proteins. Reactions to cashew and tree nuts can also occur as a consequence of hidden nut ingredients or traces of nuts that may inadvertently be introduced during food processing, handling, or manufacturing, particularly in people of European descent. The shell of the cashew nut contains oil compounds that can cause contact dermatitis similar to poison ivy, primarily resulting from the phenolic lipids, anacardic acid, and cardanyl. Due to the possible dermatitis, cashews are typically not sold in the shell to consumers. Readily and inexpensively extracted from the waste shells, cardanyl is under research for its potential applications in nanomaterials and biotechnology. The species is native to northeastern Brazil and southeastern Venezuela, and later was distributed around the world in the 1500s by Portuguese explorers. Portuguese colonists in Brazil began exporting cashew nuts as early as the 1550s. The Portuguese took it to Goa, India between 1560 and 1565. From there, it spread throughout Southeast Asia and eventually Africa.